I'll call the Finance Committee meeting to order Wednesday, June 11th. We have a pretty simple agenda, as seems to be the pattern this evening. First item is receipt of reports. The accounts paid report for the period ending April 30th, 2025. Any comments or questions? And Ms. Salerno, you have the opportunity also to give comments if you wish. But seeing none, I'll call for acceptance of that report. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
1B, Executive Summary Financial Report for the period ending April 30th, 2025. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the acceptance of that report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Finance Officer, Mr. Lieberson, I don't see him here. He did submit his usual multi-page presentation. Does anyone have any questions on the status of our tax bills or tax collections? I have a feeling that finance and tax will get a lot more attention towards the end of the summer. But not seeing anything now, I'll call for acceptance of the Finance Officer report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Information Technology. Mr. Rubin, I didn't see him here. He gave his usual, he submitted, and it's attached to the agenda, his usual comprehensive report on the tickets, OpenGov update. I'll just state that of significant importance for what Mr. Rubin's doing, along with Ms. Salerno, the Budget and Planning Module program is in process of being put into force with training, and that's going to be of critical importance, again, as we get a little more into our budget season. Any comments or questions for Information Technology or for OpenGov update? I'll move for acceptance of the Information Technology report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The grants report. So I had two questions on that.
And when you're finished, Mr. Chairman, I have a few questions myself.
Okay. So I saw that there were numerous facility RACP grant applications. And obviously we remain hopeful that we will receive many dollars to facilitate the improvement in our buildings as we have those on the timeline to put into force. My first question is, as far as the RACP grant applications, what is the timeline for expecting responses on those?
So this is for being added to the itemization bill. So this isn't actually awarding of a grant application. So with the RACP grant, it's numerous phases. The first is just submitting your project to be put on, I guess it's the budget bill. And it goes on this list, and I think it's about a 10-year period of time where these projects would be eligible to move to the second phase. So I believe this itemization period opens up once every 2 years or so, and then the second phase will open up, I believe, every 2 years, the opposite 2 years. So then people who have their project put on the itemization bill are eligible to submit an application for those approved projects. So if all of these projects are approved, then we would be eligible to submit for the next phase, which would be for those projects. If not, then we'll have to limit it.
So when you say the itemization bill, that's the budget bill? Is that the same thing?
Yes, I believe so.
And-
Yes.
It is.
So, okay, so it's not guaranteed, or it's not certain that they will all get through even that first step.
Correct. And we actually have a number of projects throughout the years that have been added to the itemization bill. And if you go through and look at the list for Cheltenham, some of them are projects that kind of are no longer really viable projects. So we never really applied for applications for those. And then a lot of those projects have come off that bill. So the number of projects that we have there that are have been accepted are very small. So we're just adding more projects onto the bill. And we have about 10 years of accepted to make application for a grant. So this gives us some.
Yeah. Will we know as soon as July then whether these have been included in the budget process?
I'm not sure the timing. Usually I think it's like toward the end of the year. I'm not sure, Commissioner Lewis, if you have any.
It has
understanding.
nothing to do with the fiscal budget.
Okay.
Yes, so it will be after July.
Okay. Then my last question there is, Allison, who's handling the grants since Miss Hart's departure?
So it's a lot of us.
Okay.
Sam Brinker, myself, Kim Kirshner, we have some of our consultants who are helping us out. So it's kind of a group effort at this point. Fortunately, we're going into the slow grant season, so hopefully we'll have someone hired by the time it ramps up for the fall.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zygmunfeld, you had a question or comment?
I did. I have a couple of comments. I think my first question is, you just asked it, but it's the oversight, the management, and the follow-up on those grant submissions. We have a mix of state, county, organization, and federal grants. On the state side, we have the RACP grants, we have the DCED grants, and we have the LSA grants. On the county side, we have the CDBG county grants. For some of our environmental and stormwater things, we have the Delaware Valley RPC organizational grants, and on some of the FEMA situations, they're federal grants. Having a mix of people to be able to follow up and assign to them is not really from I think the vantage point of us looking for significant funds for a lot of the things that we want to undertake is not, necessarily reassuring. I understand the limitations of having somebody depart, but I think it's really critical that if we're going to have, a group of people oversee those, there has to be somebody that takes on the state pieces, somebody that takes on the county and the organizational things, the FEMA grants. And, I'd like to have a clear picture, because some of what I hope to do over the next couple of months to support our facilities concerns, I want us to be able to be very precise and also very detailed about what we ask for. And so I will just simply reflect on the fact that it doesn't reassure me to hear that we have, a compendium or a group of people doing this. I think it's got to be a little more organized. And when you start to look at the grant list, you see that there are certain priorities and certain things that do have viability to get reviewed and potentially approved. And frankly, we have a chief of staff as one of our commissioners for one of our state senators, and I think we need some additional guidance from our senator and from our state rep, as well as some of the entities that are going to be overseeing. I know we had an opportunity and were able to get Matt Bradford about 2 years ago, who came to one of our sessions and provided funding for us to be able to do some of the development stuff that included the work on Lamont. And this is a very critical and a pivotal time for our municipality to get our financial house in order, to be able to have, a full update on our borrowing capacity, on our current debt, and on what in fact we can look for from outside entities and what case we can make. So I can't just, take what is a group oversight and feel comfortable that we're overseeing, managing, and following up on things. So I think there needs to be a separate meeting once we're clear on what our facilities issues are going to be, to prioritize where and what is likely for us to be able to go after. And I think there's a number of us on this call who understand and who can get into that process a little more deeply. So I know tonight is not the answer for it, but I think that has to be put at a higher level of priority than what I'm sensing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If I can jump in real quick, Commissioner, your concerns are definitely noted. However, it does look like a lot of grants, and it is. And when I say group effort, it will continue to be a group effort, even if we have one person managing the grants. Each of these projects is project based, so there are sometimes numerous grants for each project. So each project has a project manager, which may or may not have actually written the grant and be managing the paperwork side, the administrative side. So for example, I'll call Sam out, or Joe Stuckert, since they're on the call. They're managing stormwater and traffic signal projects, and then
Sure.
the grant writer is managing the grant side of it, either submitting the application or the administrative stuff. So that will continue to happen.
Sure.
But as far as the administrative side right now, we're kind of working through those challenges. I think we have it handled for the next few months while we wait for somebody to be hired. But absolutely, we'd be happy to talk more with you about administering and making sure that we're up to date and on all these grants and projects.
Thank you. And I think that folks you cited, Samantha Brinker and Joe Stuckert, do an extraordinary job. And if we had that kind of follow-up on each of these segments, I think we'd be in awesome shape. But I'm not really sensing that we're having that ownership. So that's why I raised the issue. And I thank you for offering to, expand the discussion outside of this.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Township Manager Elliott, and Commissioner Ziegmanfeld. Thank you for your important comments there, and specifically for the additional work and involvement that you are putting into working with our staff and working with our government officials to maximize our grants. So thank you. Any other comments on the grants report? All those in favor of accepting that report, say aye.
Aye.
Old business, OpenGov update. I think I already mentioned that there's attachments to the agenda that give an update. Anyone have any additional comments or questions regarding that? Then I'll move to, we don't have to move to accept that update. Never mind. Any other old business for the Finance Committee? Not seeing any new business for the Finance Committee. Anyone have any new business? Nope. Okay. Citizens Forum. Couple of citizens. Any Citizens Forum comments for the Finance Committee? Otherwise, we are going to adjourn tonight in record time. Not seeing any, I will move to adjourn the Finance Committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.